children, welcome back to our social science class. Today we will study a new lesson from history. The name of the lesson is Woman, Caste and Reform. The name of the lesson is Woman, Caste and Reform. Nowadays we know the importance of woman in the society, right? But it was not like that long years back. That's history. That's our history. So we are going to discuss about what was the condition of woman in our history. Okay. About 200 years ago, our society was not as it is now. About 200 years ago, our society was not as it is now. It had imposed many barriers on women. They could not go to school. They could not marry according to their will, etc. Okay. In some parts of the country, Sati Pratha existed and widows were praised if they chose death by burning themselves on the funeral pyre of the husband. Okay, in some parts of our country, Sati was existed and the widows were praised if they chose death by burning themselves on the funeral pyre of their husbands. That's called Sati. Okay. The society that existed in those days was also caste-based. Caste system was prevalent there. Okay? The society that existed in those days was also caste-based. People were divided along lines of caste. Okay? Brahmanas and Kshatriyas were considered as upper caste people. Okay? Brahmins and Kshatriyas were considered as upper caste. After them, traders and moneylenders were placed, second place. Okay, traders and moneylenders. Then came peasants and artisans. At the lowest rung were those whose job was to keep cities and villages clean. Okay, there were also untouchables who were considered inferior by the so-called upper caste people. Okay, so caste system was one of the important social evil in our country. Okay, things have been greatly changed now. Women are enjoying better position in every field, right? Yes, they are getting high education and are doing jobs after that. Though caste feeling is not completely rooted out, but its intensity has been minimized considerably. Now also the caste system is prevalent in our society, but the intensity is minimized. Okay, that's the condition. What positive changes we see in our society have not occurred overnight, right? It took long years to take place. It took long years to take place. Okay, from the early 19th century, debates and discussions began to take place in order to root out the evils that had crippled our society for years. These debates were after initiated by Indian reformers and reform groups. We have so many social reformers are there. Okay, so from the early 19th century, debates and discussions began to take place in order to root out the evils that had crippled our society for years. These debates are often initiated by Indian reformers and reform groups. Okay, so we are going to discuss a great personality, that is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was one such a reformer. He was a very important social reformer in the history of India. He founded the Brahma Samaj in Calcutta. Now it's called Kolkata. Okay, he founded Brahma Samaj in Calcutta. He wanted to spread Western education in the country. He advocated for women education. He strongly disapproved the system of sati. Many British officials also criticized Indian traditions and customs during that time. Okay, anyway, Raja Ram Mohan Roy wanted to spread Western education. Okay, in our country. He advocated for women education. He strongly disapproved the system of sati. He was against the sati. He considered it was an evil practice in our country. Okay. Many British officials also criticized Indian traditions and customs also during that time. Okay, they supported Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Finally, Sati Pratha was banned in the year 1829. Okay, the British officials supported Raja Ram Mohan Roy for banning the Sati. Okay, finally, Sati Pratha was banned in the year 1829. It was a great achievement in our history of India, right? Yes. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was a great reformer. Another reformer, Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar. He forwarded widow remarriage. Okay, he forwarded widow remarriage. British officials supported his cause and passed a law in 1856 that permitted widows to remarry. Okay, till it was not there, British officials supported his cause, that means Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar's cause, and passed a law in 1856 that permitted widows to remarry. Okay. Now, next great reformer, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He founded Arya Samaj, also supported widow remarriage. In this lesson, we already told, in this lesson we are discussing about the great social reformers who upgraded the women in the society. Okay. So, among them, Swami Dayananda Saraswati was another important personality. He founded Arya Samaj, also supported widow remarriage. These reformers felt that in order to improve the condition of women, it was necessary to educate them. Okay, till during that time, they didn't get an education, higher education. They were also always inside the home to take the activities in the home and to take care of their children and household activities also. Okay, so these reformers felt that in order to improve the condition of women, it was necessary to educate the women. Okay, for this purpose, several schools opened for girls by the efforts of Vidyasagar and other reformers. They started girls' schools, okay, to improve the educational qualifications or qualities of women. Okay, that was also a great achievement. Then, people reacted sharply against sending girls to schools. Okay, hence they were taught at home throughout the 19th century. The common people were not ready to accept to send their children or girls to school. Hence they were taught at the home throughout the 19th century. In aristocratic Muslim families in North India, women learned to read the Quran in Arabic. They were taught by women who came home to teach. They are also not going to school, but they were taught inside the home. Okay, in aristocratic Muslim families in North India, women learned to read the Quran in Arabic. They were taught by women who came home to teach. Muslim women like Begums of Bhopal did a lot for the promotion of education among the women. They set up a primary school for girls at Aligarh. They set up a primary schools for girls at Aligarh. The Muslim women like Begums of Bhopal did a lot for the promotion of education among the women. They set up a primary school for girls at Aligarh. Begum Rukia Sakhawat Hussain also opened schools for Muslim girls in place like Patna and Calcutta. Okay, Begum Rukia Sakhawat Hussain was a social reformer who started to uplift the role of women in the society. Okay, so she started opened a schools for Muslim girls in places like Patna and Calcutta. By the 1880s, Indian women began to take university education. Okay, some of them trained to be doctors, while some became teachers. Many women began to write and publish their critical views on the status of women in society. Okay, for instance, Tarabai Shinde published a book named Stree Purusha Tulana. Another reformer, that is Tarabai Shinde. She published a book named Stree Purusha Tulana. Okay, then Pandita Ramabai was also another woman social reformer. Pandita Ramabai wrote a book about the pathetic condition of upper caste Hindu widows. She set up a widow home at Pune in order to give shelter to widows. Now also it was there. Okay, Pandita Ramabai wrote a book about the pathetic condition of upper caste Hindu widows. She set up a widow home at Pune in order to give shelter to widows. Okay, so Muslim women like the Begums of Bhopal did a lot for the promotion of education among the women. They set up a primary school for the girls. They set up a primary school for girls at Aligarh. Begum Rokia Sakhawat Hussain also opened schools for Muslim girls in places like Patna and Calcutta. Okay, by the 1880s, the Indian women began to take university education. Some of them trained to be doctors, while some to be become teachers. Many women began to write and publish their critical views on the status of women in society. For instance, Tarabai Shinde published a book named Stri Purusha Tulana. Pandita Ramabai wrote a book about the pathetic condition of upper caste Hindu widows. Okay, she set up a widow's home at Pune in order to give shelter to widows. Clear? So these are the important points of this lesson. We need one more class to finish the lesson. So you have to read the textbook carefully and prepare the keynote. So many one-word questions you will definitely will work from this lesson, and we will rectify your doubts in the next online session. So don't miss your online session. Namaste. Have a nice day. Thank you.